Hey guys, the magic moment has arrived. Here's the seal kit from Alliance Hobby. Comes with a transfer port. Here's the little fiber optic sight. And I'm going to steal the ball bearing out of this gun so I can put this one together and get it done with. I'm itching to do it. Here's the assembled grip frame. I did that this afternoon. Everything's gorgeous. I've shimmed up the sear and I've shimmed up the trigger, and it's got a wonderful feel to it now. It's just beautiful. So that'll be a piece of cake. Just drop the spring and ball bearing in there, and the real assembly will be all this goody stuff here. Putting the seals in and whatnot, it's no big deal, but I'll go ahead and show you a few little bits as I go along, and then I'll show you the finished bit. We'll keep this one short. Well, I would say the first thing to do is make sure everything's clean. These have been polished, so I had to make sure I removed all of the schmutza from the inside here where this O-ring is going to go, and this little orange O-ring is going to go in there. First I'm going to put a drop of air gun oil on it. So there it is, popped in, no big deal. Ready to go. Okay, so that's ready to install in the tube. And of course everything should be spotlessly clean, like the inside of this tube. I used a shotgun brush and the heck is the name of a big old fluffy brush. Put it through there, wire brush and fluffy brush with silicone on it. So that thing's like a mirror inside, so that's good to go. Okay, so this goes in the tube. Port on this side, screw on this side. And the valve is secured in the tube with this little stubby screw, and that puts the transfer port right where you want. Next up is this little flat-sided washer or ring or whatever you want to call it, and that's got to go right over top of the transfer port. And I've got a brand new transfer port that came with the kit. That's going to go right on top of the O-ring. And just work that in there so it stays like it's supposed to. It's got to kind of screw into it a little bit. I've oiled it up so it'll go in there real nice. See how it's just in there? Now it won't fall out. It's sealed up. It's ready for the barrel breech to go on now. Alright, next up is the hammer. So I've oiled that up. Now this doesn't have any contact with air or with seals or anything. So I'm using some Break Free because that works best. I've also lubed the entire inside of the tube with a light coating of Break Free by pushing a rag through there. So this goes in, and then this goes through to secure it, and then it can go all the way forward once I got it just right. There we go. Alright, did I get it? Yep. So now there's the hammer. Check it out, make sure it's nice and smooth. Okay, so that's good. Now that the hammer's there, you don't have to worry about the spring and end cap yet. Now I can put the breech, barrel, and barrel band, all that good stuff on. I'm going to put the barrel band on separately though because I have the sight off. So I can just slip it over the whole assembly. Yeah, feels okay. Alright. And before I can put the breech together, I have to put the new O-ring on the bolt. So I put a little drop of air gun oil on there, and I'll pop it on. Alright, the next step is you line up the transfer port hole on the barrel with the hole in the breech, and then you mate the two parts up together, and it's a lot easier to do, obviously, if the bolt's all the way forward and the hammer's almost all the way back, because then it'll clear the bolt and you can just drop it, the hammer pin right through that slot there. Okay, with the barrel, breech, transfer port, seal, tube, everything all lined up the way it's supposed to be, then you open the bolt and it reveals the little hole where you have to put a very, very tiny little screw. It's a small screw, so you know, you don't want to strip it out, but you do want to get it nice and tight so that the barrel and the breech and the transfer port and the seals and everything are all nice and tight. Now you make sure your barrel's nice and straight, And you can slide the barrel band on it just to make sure that everything stays secure while you're assembling. Alright, that's looking pretty sexy. Now I had to clean these threads out a little bit because there was some polishing compound in there, so I made sure I had my threads nice and cleaned out by using some oil and just running it back and forth in a rag and whatnot. So there's the barrel band on. That looks pretty darn sexy, doesn't it? It's nice contrast to graphite against the chrome. So now I can finish up putting on the end cap. So there's the end cap with the very lightly oiled spring. I just put a little oil on a cloth and rubbed the spring with it to keep it from rusting and whatnot. And then that's just going to go in there and be secured with a long screw through the rear sight. Okay, so this is almost done. Last step will be to slide on the fiber optic sight on the front, and that will complete the top end. And the lower has already been put together, so then it's just a matter of putting a couple screws on and the gun will be complete. Alright, so here's the lower ready to go in with the little safety spring and ball that I stole from my beautiful gun. And put that on with a couple screws and we'll see how this thing runs. Alright guys, project done's done. Looks pretty good. I'm not really sure how well this paint's going to hold up, to be honest with you. You know, if it was powder coat or something, I'd be real happy, but it's not. If the paint doesn't hold up, I'll just end up polishing it, because I did some test polishing, and the stuff does polish up somewhat. Safety's real nice and secure. Trigger feels good. Just lovely trigger, love it. So, I guess gas it up and shoot it when it gets daylight outside. I'll do that tomorrow. But that's it for tonight, guys. Project Gun, Santa's Workshop, all that good stuff. Looks really nice. I just don't know how well the paint will hold up. Probably have to polish that if it starts getting chipped up. But for now, it looks pretty decent. A little dot sight is definitely an improvement.